What's up, y'all? I'm not gonna be very long on this video, but on December the 10th, the day of my empowerment luncheon, even leading up to my event, the enemy had been very busy, and I was very aware of his presence, but I did not allow anything that he tried to come between anything that was to come. And so, fast forward to my luncheon, a lot of things took place. A lot of things were out of order. There was some disrespect. There was a lot of shade thrown. And initially, when it first happened, I just shook it off and, kind of kept on with it. But then, during and after, the jabs continue. And there's a few of y'all that have reached out to me because y'all have heard that I have left, the e-group. So I wanted to get on here and, finally just speak on behalf of not burning any bridges. And so, as you all know, I'm very grateful for the entire e-group. You ladies have been there for me in my growth, and not only in my growth, but in my own personal life. And I really do appreciate y'all. And as I said, the enemy has been very busy. And sometimes, even when we don't notice, we allow the enemy to use us in ways that may not be known to us in that moment. But like I said, there was a lot of disrespect that happened on the day of my empowerment luncheon. And one of the most valuable lessons I've learned, well, a few valuable lessons I've learned, but one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is to everything does not deserve a response. And so with that being said, even before I met this group of women, y'all, I had a tendency to distance myself, but I also knew that once I got here, that not only distance myself, but isolate myself from people and from things. And so what I noticed is that I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to be distant. I don't want to hold malice in my heart. I don't want to hold, anger or bitterness. And I don't want to, further have any conflicts, on top of what went on. And so wholeheartedly, I forgive everybody that played a part in what happened on the 10th. I'm not going to get into details about it because what happened is happened. I'm not a person that lives in the past. I have not been angry or mad at anyone because of it. It just made me see what things were in those moments, and I understood it. Now, it didn't hurt me, but I was very disappointed because there were those of you that I did look up to as, and I still do, because I know you all hold a certain position in my life. And so I have forgiven each one of y'all. I'm not holding anything over y'all heads or in my heart. I completely understood what happened on December the 10th. And so even when that happened, like I said, I wasn't hurt about the situation, but I was very disappointed in, a lot of you. And I felt like I said I needed to come and make this video to clear it up, because I've had a few of y'all reach out to me, to kind of try to find out what's going on, and, to tell me that, y'all don't want me to leave the group. Well, here's the thing. As I said, in my growing, at one point in time in my life, I chose to isolate myself and remove myself from anything that caused me confrontation or anything that compromised my peace. And so when those things happen, I immediately said, okay, I'm going to remove myself. But when I initially said that, I said, okay, well, no, I don't just want to do that. So I went straight to God. I talked to God about it, and God revealed some things to me and said some things to me about how I should go forth. And so when he told me that, I was very adamant, with what he had said. But then I had a few of you reach out to me, and of course, y'all had talks with me, and y'all were like, I shouldn't leave the group, and I'm very important part of the group, and y'all need me there because, of course, we all need each other. And so, and upon talking to the few that I have, I said that respectfully I was going to walk away because that's what I was instructed to do. And so I continued to pray to God about it some more. And the feeling that I had was the feeling that I initially had. Like, I didn't want to leave the group of women that I had grown with. But I had to be obedient to what God says. So then, on top of being obedient with what God says, here I had those of you reaching out to me saying how much I meant to the group and how much y'all needed me as well, and how much y'all impact me and I can impact y'all. And so I went back to God again. I was like, God, now I know you don't give us the spirit of confusion and stuff, and right now, God, I'm confused because you told me specifically, and see, it's not like I don't know God's voice. I hear God's voice. I spend a lot of time with him. And so I hear him clearly when he speaks. And so although he's spoken to me, and I went through a phase of, okay, God said do this, but at the same time, my heart said this is not right. Because, like I said, I don't like to burn bridges. I don't like to leave things, unresolved. But at this point in my life, like, I just felt like it was so crucial for me to walk away in that moment, because I didn't want to be taken back to a place that disrupted my peace. But then again, God had to remind me again, man did not give me my peace, so man can't take it away. And so just in all of that, y'all, like I said, I went back to God again about it. And I still sat and still prayed and still talked to God, and still I was like, okay, God, I'm a little confused because you said do this, but then I have, a few of them reaching out to me, and I don't ignore when people reach out to me, because sometimes God can use people to still speak to us in different situations. So although God had spoken to me and told me specifically what to do, I also had to be open and listening to them. And so just listening to them, I had to also take that back to God. And I was like, God, okay, God, you called me to do this. I know that in order to build, myself to grow, that I can't just walk away like this. And so I held that for a few days, and still, like I said, still was talking to God. And as I was sitting talking to God today, I was like, God, I'm real confused and at this point, and it's real heavy on my heart, because I don't want to leave this like this. Like, these women were a very important part of my life, and I don't want to just walk away like that, God. Even though you said to walk away, I don't want to just walk away. And so as I went to God and he spoke to me today, it really lifted me, because, and it taught me something more. It lifted me because that weight is gone of feeling heavy about just walking away. And so God spoke to me. He told me that although I did not misunderstand what he said, God said there is a way to do it. And so, like I said, God's ways are perfect. His ways weren't wrong. His ways wasn't wrong when he spoke to me and told me that I needed to, walk away in this present moment. And sometimes, like I said, God will tell us things for our best interest, because he knows us in that moment. And so what I got out of this is, although God spoke to me and instructed me on what to do, I seeked him. I seek God in this very incident. And God said, you didn't misunderstand. You didn't misunderstand what I said. But God said, because of who you are, I can't just walk away. You know, I can't just leave things unresolved. See, my way of fixing this was to just walk away, to keep peace, to keep down confrontation. You know, I strongly believe, and I strongly believe that when a person shows you who they are, believe them. I also believe in treating people accordingly, not nasty, not with evil intentions, not with malice in our hearts, but I truly believe in treating people accordingly. And so what God was trying to get me to see was, although he instructed me to do a thing, there's a way to do it. God didn't want me to just bluntly walk away and just not talk to anybody and, address anything. That's not what God wanted me to do. But like I said, for a moment I was taken back to not wanting to go back to the former things. And so I decided to take some time and, literally just talk to God about it. Like, I literally have been in here over the last week or so just talking to God about this situation. Like I said, wasn't mad. I'm still not mad. I'm not angry at nobody. It was more of a, God, I don't want to mess up. God, I don't want to disappoint you, God. And I just kept saying to God today, God, I don't want to disappoint you. But God, in this moment, I'm confused, Father, because you told me to do this. But then I have other things that are presenting itself, God. So that must be you talking to me, answering my prayers. And so, like I said, even when that happened, I spoke to, a young lady today, and, she asked me, am I sure I want to leave the e-group? And in that moment, it was still a moment of confusion for me because, like I said, I had been talking to God. And God had already instructed me what to do. But I was still waiting on the answer from God. And in God answering me, God said I didn't misunderstand what he had instructed me to do. So what he told me to do, I was absolutely correct on what he told me to do. But it was how he wanted me to go about doing it. Because of who I am, I can't just walk away and leave things unfinished. I can't. Even before I went to God about it, it was just something about it that just didn't sit right. I was like, I don't want to be mad at nobody. And that's how I carried the situation this last week, because I was like, I don't want to be mad at nobody. I'm not mad at nobody because I completely understood what it was. I completely understood. Yes, I was very disappointed in the things that took place and how things went, but I understood it. Like, I literally understood it. It was a different understanding. And I knew that was a part of my growth. This is also a part of my growth, me getting on here and doing this video so I can avoid, having everybody reach out one by one, trying to figure out what's going on. What went on is what went on. And after this video, I'm leaving it at that. I'm not going to allow the enemy to step in and create any more division than what he has already caused. I'm bigger than that. I'm grown. I can talk about situations. But like I said, I felt in those first couple of days, or the time leading up after it, I felt as if my silence was enough. My silence in those couple of days protected what God is doing. It protected what God is doing. Like, I literally think about now, will I disappoint God? And so that was my immediate response to just everything that happened. I was like, I can't do this. I can't react this way, because God, he done delivered me from that. And so, like I said, this is a very lifting moment for me to even, be doing this video. But I just want to clarify, I love everybody the same. Like I said, I pray that we can move forth. As God continues to use me, as he continues to speak to me, of course, I'll move accordingly. But what I wanted y'all to know, even outside of this, God forgives you. I forgive you and God forgives you. Like I said, what happened has happened. And I'm not even really stuck on that. I'm not even stuck on that because, like I said, I understood it when it happened. But going forth, I don't want any burned bridges. I don't want anybody to feel any kind of way after this. Like Like I said, because I felt some kind of way after this, because I knew that me isolating myself was not all the way right, but it was what God wanted me to do. Like I said, and just going back to him. So whenever you are confused about what to do, go to God, because he will clarify every situation. And like I said, even though God has spoken to me and specifically told me what to do, he also spoke to me today. After I cried and prayed out today again, he said, you did not misunderstand what I said. So I wasn't confused. That lifted my confusion in that moment. God said, you didn't misunderstand what I said, but it's a way to do it. And so out of love, out of who I am, out of who God has called me to be, out of me operating according to God's plans, to God's ways, I can't walk away and leave any of this unaddressed. I just can't do it. Years and years ago, I could have done it, and I could have been fine with it, because most of my life I've lived moving on. Once it's done, and I move on. But this time is different. I know that I can't move on and grow and go into my next season without dealing with what has went on. So like I said, whoever gets to see the video, I pray that y'all, understand where I'm coming from. And before you do things, before you react, before you, do something that is going to cause you to walk out of alignment, who God has called you to be, go to him. Pray about it. Like literally, I'll tell y'all, with anything, I pray about everything. And because of the relationship I have with God, he answers me. It doesn't take him months, it doesn't take him weeks. Sometimes it takes a moment, sometimes it takes some minutes, sometimes it takes him a couple hours. Sometimes for me, it takes God a few days, But in that process, in those steps, I learn, and I'm also corrected, and I'm also shown the direction in which I should go. So whenever y'all feeling like you're not really sure about just anything in life, continue to go to God in prayer. Tell God to reveal to you what it is about yourself that you don't see. What is causing your growth to be stunted? What is causing you from not walking into the direction in which he's calling you? God will answer you. Like I said, I'm not saying that he's going to answer you in the same time that he answers me. Everybody is different. But for me, over this last week or so, I've been dealing specifically with God every day. Praying for y'all. Like I literally have been in prayer for y'all. And like I said, I forgive you. God forgive you. I forgave y'all when it happened. But I understood. And so I just wanted to get that off of my heart. And if anybody has been affected by, my presence being gone over this last week, then I hope this video lifts your spirit and lifts the heaviness off of y'all, because like I said, we builded a special bond, and not just a bond, just any old bond. We built a sisterhood. We built being able to, call on each other if we need it. And so there are seasons for everything in our lives, and some people are meant to be in our lives for only seasons. Only God knows that. But like I said, God has instructed me in how to operate. But the confusion came in where I was going through that tearing, when Pastor Frederick was speaking weeks ago about us, being pulled this way and pulled that way. God's saying this and we fighting this over here. And God's told us to do this, but we still fighting this. And so that was literally me the past 2 days. Literally like, okay, God, you said do this, but this is happening. God, you said to do this, but this is happening. And so God came to me specifically today and he said, you did not misunderstand what I said, but there's a way in which I want you to go about it. And so, like I said, I received not only my correction, but I learned some lessons in that as well. And something very important y'all could take with y'all, something I learned a while back. Everything that happens is for not only you, but for others. I believe that this situation happened not only because the enemy was busy, but because my God is busier, and because my sole purpose as a leader, as a chosen one, as someone who God has given me all the necessary tools and things to teach others. I don't care how long you have been a teacher, a leader, you are going to constantly learn different stuff. And this was another learning experience for me. You know, even though I had known something wasn't right about the situation and I felt in my heart heavy that this was not right to just walk away, I also had to be obedient to what God said. And even in my obedience, God saw that she came to me. She trusts me. Yet again, she believes in what I said. She believes in me. She believes in what I have called her to do. And so, like I said, I never want to leave a situation and have to worry about whether I displease God. I'm not worried about anything that happened within it. Just I don't want to mess up with God. That's my only thing. I don't want to mess up with God. So I'm making this right. You know, what's done is done. It's in the past. Like I said, I love y'all all the same. This was different. This was different. If you listen to this video, and if you can apply any of these things back to your own personal life, take from me that, like I said, we forgive, we love, and we move on. That's something that is very major for me. Because like I said before, and what the confusing and the struggling part was I was comfortable with walking away to save my peace. But just in the time that I spent alone these last couple of days, God can't move us or elevate us into our next season or level if we can't deal what's right in front of us. And so y'all are right in front of me. There's no way to bypass y'all. I've said to several of y'all, it's not like I'm never going to see y'all again. But there was something still God wanted to show me out of this. And today I got that. So like I said, I am not by any means upset with anybody. I forgive all that was involved, in what took place. And, my line is open. I am in a space now that I feel like I can, if you wanted to call and say something, you can. But I kind of feel like I'm in a space now that after this video, though, like I said, I don't want to even go on about it because it's done. What's done is done. But if you feel the need that you need to call and, for whatever reason, my line is open. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.